let's get real.
Hello, you guys. Welcome back to Real Talk with Menashe. I am your host, Menashe Chinyanganya. How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. It's been a minute since it's just been me doing this by myself. I feel like the past couple episodes I've had people with me, and I love that, and I'll continue to do that. But I also just love doing solo episodes because I can just talk about what's on my mind and my heart and uninterrupted. And I don't know, there's just an element to it that I love. And so today it's just you and me. I'm back. I said I'm back. Thank you. And I'm so excited to be hanging out with you guys today. So I just need to say too, before we get into it, happy belated Mother's Day. Mother's Day was this past Sunday, and it's so crazy to think about, but there are some mothers that do listen to me. And so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I hope you guys had an amazing, beautiful, wonderful day. And to my mother, shout out to my mom, who I love so much, who is so supportive of everything that I do and is just the best woman. And what else could I say? I could say so much, but I'm just truly glad that she is my mom. So shout out to you, Mom. I love you. And I just hope you had the best day ever. And I'm grateful to God for you every single day. One thing I want to touch on before we even get into my main point for today is that I just recently saw, right before I started recording, that Chili's is shutting down its doors. Now, I didn't look too much into it, so I don't know if they're shutting down. It said shutting stores down or shutting down restaurants in America. But that's so vague. Does that mean like every single Chili's is shutting down, or does that just mean like a certain number of Chili's are shutting down? This saddens me. Now, I feel like I'm a bit numb to it a little bit because, I mean, we got a couple months ago, what was it, Dollar Tree? Or should I say $1.25? Ugh, I'm sick. $1.25 Tree is shutting down. They're shutting down their stores. And then I don't know, like I just feel like this has been like a pattern. I also saw that Red Lobster is shutting down their doors. Now here's the thing. When it comes to Chili's, when it comes to Red Lobster, I personally have not been there in such a long time. So it does sadden me, but it's like, I guess I get it, because if I'm not going, like who is? Like, I guess that people aren't going, but there was just a level of comfort to know that like it was there, you know? And I feel like that should have been enough to keep it in business, but I guess not. Like, I guess they needed us to show up and we didn't. So they're shutting down. But I don't know, Chili's, like, I loved I was gonna say Applebee's. Is Applebee's shutting down? I wouldn't be surprised if they're next. But with Red Lobster, like their rolls, have you ever had their rolls? You guys have to try them before they close. I don't know if they're rolls, they're bread, whatever it is. So good. Haven't had it in ages, but I remember really enjoying that. Their seafood was fine, you know? Like, I'll miss it. I wish it was still there, but like I think I'll be okay. But with Chili's, baby back ribs, like that's sad. Like that's really sad. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I actually don't want them to shut down at all. Is there anything that can be done? I don't know. I just feel like it's a pattern. I don't know if it's our economy. I don't really know. With all these little stores that have just been there like all my life, it's just, you know, you always drive down the road and you're bound to run into like a Chili's, a Red Lobster, an Applebee's, a Dollar Tree. Like, hello? Like, what are we going to do? No, but on a real note, what are we going to do? I don't know. It's like, listen, if I could solve the problems, I would. I'm just giving you guys the news that I'm hearing and we're coping with it together. Like today, Chili's, tomorrow, stay tuned. Anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into my main point for today. This might be a shorter episode. I really don't know. But the thing I want to talk about today is something that I'm currently like living out right now. So I guess that's why it's on my mind and my heart to talk about. But for my main point today, I just want to talk about the fact that I am in a season of prioritizing myself and my well-being, and kind of just want to talk about what that looks like and like why it's so important. It's something that I should have always been doing, I guess, but I'm definitely like intentionally putting more focus on it right now because it was just time. It was just time for me to do. When I say like prioritizing myself, I'm talking about my well-being, my health, what else? My sleep, I don't know, my fitness, everything, just my whole life in general. The people that I have in my life, the people that I interact with, the things that I allow into like my mind and what I dwell on and all those things. Like I just felt like, I don't know, I'm in this season of my life where I feel like I can see like in the distance what I want to be, the person I want to be, the potential that I have, all that stuff. But if I don't like rearrange things and shift things, like I'm not gonna get there. And that to me, it would be like so devastating. So I just was like, you know what? Like, I know what I'm capable of. Like, I know the abilities I have. And I also feel like I'm feeling a bit clouded right now because of all the things I'm just allowing. And by me not prioritizing myself and setting up those boundaries, I'm just allowing all this stuff to just be around me when I truly do have the power and the ability to shut it down and just make myself the primary focus. And I feel like sometimes for some reason that's seen as being selfish, but it's not being selfish. I think it's very, very important and necessary because the way that I see it is in order for me to be the best version of myself for other people and show up as my best self, I have to put myself first, you know? And if that's selfish, I guess then I'm selfish, but I don't really see it as selfish. I think it's something that we all should be doing. I think it's something that's very vital and important to us just being the best version of ourselves and showing up as our best selves. And so, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've been a bit more isolated, I guess, in this season, not intentionally, maybe a little bit, but just because I need to figure some things out. I needed to be like, have I just been allowing things to just, have I been allowing people to get away with things or just allowing things to happen to me because I care about these people and I love these people? Are these like, am I like living my life and waking up every day and doing the things that I'm meant to be doing? Or am I just kind of like existing? Like that's how I feel sometimes. And it's not a great feeling, honestly. And so I don't want to by any means feel like I feel lost in this world or anything, because I don't. Like, I definitely in this year specifically have taken a lot of like strides and stuff to do the things that I care about and love about and am passionate about, such as this very podcast. But as we enter summer, you know, and we're literally going to be in June so soon, and we're going to be halfway through this year. I just decided to take a step back in this month and be like, okay, let me like analyze some things so I can go into the second half of this year truly being, or, you know, working on being my best self. I feel like in order to be your best self, you're constantly working on yourself. You're constantly evolving. It's never something that you're done doing. But I think there's seasons in your life, or at least this season in my life, because I'll talk for myself, where I really had to take a step back and figure out like my next moves and my next steps. And the things that I'm going to mention aren't even like crazy things, but they're just important for me to do like right now for me. I feel like I've taken so much social media, and to a point though where it's gotten a bit like much. And so I'm just kind of working on like finding a balance. And I think this is something that like a lot of us struggle with, of just shutting it down. I realized too that sometimes like my mind would be kind of like racing a little bit. Like I'd feel like I couldn't escape whatever, like to the point where I would like log out of an app, and then without even realizing I would log back into the app all within like 30 seconds. I'd be like, okay, I'm done with this, and then I'd be right back, you know? And so that's something that I've been actively working on, because I was like, this is not healthy at all. You know, I have to find a healthy balance between taking in stuff and being on social media, and then also just like not, and doing things outside of it. Because I don't know, it feels like a brain rot or something. Like, I know that like the TikTok ban has been a crazy conversation and stuff, and I obviously hope it doesn't happen, because like I love TikTok and I think TikTok's important for a whole bunch of different reasons. But there was a part of me that was like, if TikTok went away, like I think I would be better off for it, just because I spend so much time just like mindlessly scrolling. And you can do that on TikTok, you can do that on Instagram, you can do that on any social platform. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just me taking those steps to be like, you know what, like I don't need to be on this all the time. I don't need to hear everybody's take on everything. I think that's also the big thing for me, is that everyone's very opinionated, including myself. But it's like, I don't think we were made to hear everybody's take on everything all the time and be constantly just taking in all this information. And a lot of it's like nonsense a lot of the time. I think us like being up to date on the news and things that are important, like, yeah, that makes sense. And I do get a lot of that from TikTok, and I'm grateful. But I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, just I don't need to hear everybody's like everything all the time. I just don't think that's very healthy for me. And so that's been something that I've been working on. Also, just like going to bed earlier. And, guys, I hate to say it. But the people are right. Like, when you go to bed earlier, like, you do feel better in the morning. You really do. Your day goes better. You're more awake. You're more alert. You don't hit like this crash midday. Like, they're right. Go to bed earlier. If you struggle with going to bed early, try it one time. Just try it one time and just see like if I'm right. Like, I know I am, but just see if I'm right, and you will feel those benefits, and you'll probably keep wanting to do it, like, honestly. So that's something that I've been doing, is just trying to go to bed earlier. What else? Also, like, kind of dimming the lights, kind of doing what I think parents do for babies. You know how, like, when their day is coming to an end, I mean, babies go to bed at like, I don't know, like 8 or something, but like, you know, they'll start to dim the lights and like just set up that atmosphere for bed. I've been doing that, and it's been so helpful. I don't know, try that out. That's just like a little thing, like dim the lights. I don't know, maybe play some calming music, doing stuff to just shut your mind down before you even like go to sleep. Because what I typically do is I'm like, okay, I'm going to bed, night, and like I don't have an issue sleeping, like, thank God. Like, I don't, like, some people have problems like going to sleep. I can sleep instantly, but I think it's nice when you set yourself up. I was like drinking tea, some chamomile tea before bed. Like, are you serious? I am. It really works. Like, it's really calming and nice. And that's something that I think would be helpful to anybody. Also, in this season of prioritizing myself, I'm just focusing on doing more things that like make me happy. But like intentionally doing things that make me happy, because it's not like I wasn't doing that before, but just being like, you know what, I'm gonna go out of my way to like try some new things, do new things, be around people that I feel like I should be around. And I don't know, just like allowing myself to be more involved in my everyday life. I think sometimes you can just be like existing but not living, if that makes sense. And so I've been a lot more intentional, like in my conversations and things that I do, just being more like in the moment. If I feel myself kind of like, I don't know, subconscious, because a lot of this is subconsciously. Like, I'm never like trying to be distant or anything, but I think me being more intentional with it has allowed me to just really enjoy my life more and the moments and stuff like that, and not be worried about the next thing or whatever, but just being like in that moment is really important to me, and something that's been really helping me when it comes to like prioritizing myself and all of that. Also, the setting boundaries thing. So here's the thing with me when it comes to setting boundaries. When it comes to people that I don't really like, it's not that I don't like them or care about them or anything, but just people that I would say I'm more distant from, like acquaintances, I don't really have issues setting boundaries. I think for me, setting boundaries is harder for people that I do love and care about. Like, that's when I had the hard time setting boundaries. Because I know for some people, like, they just have trouble setting boundaries, period. I have gotten to a place in my life where I can easily set a boundary. I don't really like confrontation, but I'm at the point in my life where it's like, if it needs to be done, like, I can do it. But yeah, setting up boundaries for acquaintances, not really an issue. However, setting boundaries for people that I do love and care about and consider like close to me, I struggle with a bit more. And I didn't even really realize this because, I mean, I care about them. I love them. Like, why would I have to worry about those things? But sometimes setting boundaries, it's not like such a like cold thing. It's just more about understanding like what works best for me and what I like and what I don't like, and just living my life in that way so that when people cross it accidentally, maybe they don't even know, I'm more like, I can like speak up about it and be like, hey, like I don't love it when you do this, or and like have maybe sometimes what people consider hard conversations. But I think that when you're talking to people that you truly love and care about, hard conversations really shouldn't be hard, right? Because you already have that relationship like established, and obviously easier said than done, but you already have that relationship established, so it shouldn't be difficult. But I think what was happening with me over time is I was subconsciously just like allowing things to happen, or kind of dealing with things internally and being like in my mind like, oh, like why'd they do that, or blah 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 blah, but not saying anything, just keeping it all up here. And I don't think that was healthy. I don't think that was healthy for me. So I think I kind of taken a step back just to analyze and regroup and be like, okay, like, is this in my head? Am I overthinking? Because I am an overthinker, and that is also something that I just deal with and stuff. But also I feel like we have intuition, and sometimes your gut and the way you feel and the way that you feel is valid. Doesn't mean that your feelings are always right, but they are valid. And so it's like, I just need to take a step back so I could just kind of analyze some things and kind of regroup. I think that was really healthy for me to, again, prioritize myself, because then I can go into things more, what's the word? In a, like, I don't know, just go about it in a smart way, especially when you're dealing with people that you love and care about. And this sounds like I have beef with people. I really don't. I just think, again, like, I just wanted to be like, okay. Also, I want to be intentional with the people who I have around me and stuff. And I think by figuring this out too, I'm a better version of myself, and I can be a better friend and a better human being and all of that. So everything ties in together. You know what I mean? Another thing that kind of ties in to, setting boundaries and stuff is to stop expecting me from other people. That is something that I think I'm coming to terms with, or had to come to terms with, because I think I just like forgot, like, I live my life and I do things in a certain way. And I feel like if we're close, you should know how I am. But everyone else is, living their own lives, doing things the way that they do them. And I think I had this expectation unintentionally, but I had this expectation in my head that like people would know that what they were doing was like upsetting, or people should know that this is how I go about things because we're so close. How could you not? But we have to stop expecting. I think you set yourself up for failure when you try to just assume. And I think there's like, oh, hello? Camera went a bit wonky there, so I don't even know what I was saying. It just like shut down. I was like, oh, not this. But it was something along the lines of expecting you from other people. Just don't do that. just don't do that. Sometimes you have to tell people, and you have to teach people how to treat you. And, at a certain point, listen, if they're your friends, your loved ones, like, they'll figure it out. They'll adapt. If they can't, then maybe they're not someone you should have in your life. But all in all, I just say that because I think sometimes I have just by accident just been like, oh, like, they should know that I don't do that. And like, how would they know? How would they know? So that's something too that I've realized in this process. And yeah, what else was I going to say? I literally, guys, that camera, I'm like talking and the camera just shuts off. I was like, oh, okay. Like, it's fine. At the end of the day, all of this isn't me being hard on myself or anything. It's just like a self-reflective thing that I wanted to do because, like I said, there's a part of me, you guys, I don't know if you've ever experienced this or even understand what I'm saying, but there's a part of me that just knows that like I am on the brink of greatness in my life. Like the goals and things that I have for myself, like it's almost like I can see it and I know a version of that person exists, but I've got to work for it, and it's going to take some work, and it's going to take some changing like patterns and stuff in my life to get there. And I think everyone gets this at their own time in their own life. Like, I'm here now, you might get to it later on, or maybe you've already experienced it. But once you get there, you get to a point where you don't want anything in the way between you and your goals. You're so willing and ready to work on it and kind of fix whatever you need to fix to get there. And I feel like that's where I'm at. And it's a really, really exciting and it's really eye-opening. And I'm excited for whatever that means. I think this is, again, like a life journey. So I don't know if there's really an end goal. But I just was like, you know what? This is a good time. And I feel like I'll probably do this a lot more times in my life of just taking a step back and like, you know, fixing whatever needs to be fixed, changing things that need to be changed, and then also just doing more of what works for me too. Because like not everything's a hot mess, you guys. Like there are things that I do. There are people in my life and all of that are great and are so supportive and kind. And I just love that they're a part of my life and all of that. And I have things that I do in my day-to-day routine that really work for me. And so I want to expand on that. So it's all good. And like I said, like this is good for me personally, but it's also good for the people that are around me, because how can I hold people to a standard of expectations if I don't like hold myself to that same one? You know? So I kind of have to do this in my own life so that now this is where I live. This is the life I live, and everyone else needs to like also, you know, rise up to the occasion and meet me where I'm at. But that just takes, you know, doing inner work. So that's kind of where I am. And I just wanted to share this today because I feel like it can be beneficial. Maybe you're in a season of your life too, where you're, you know, also see all these amazing things ahead of you, but no, you've got to work hard to get there. And so I'm just like, you know, doing the work, putting in one foot and one foot in front of the other, you know? And I know that I will get there, and that I'm capable of doing I'm capable of doing these things, and so are you. I can't talk anymore, so I'm ending this. But yeah, I hope that you guys understood where I was coming from and my heart with this. And yeah, that's really all I wanted to say in today's episode. I hope you guys are all doing amazing and that you have a great week and that you prioritize yourself. And maybe there's something that stood out to you when I was saying that, something you know that you've been kind of been putting on the back burner that you know you need to work on. Do those things this week. Start, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day is something I always say to myself. So just start doing the work now and you'll be so much farther ahead by the end of this year. You have no idea. Don't think about the end of this year. I'm just saying that if you start something now, imagine where you could be in 6 months, but also like imagine where you could be in 2 weeks or a month. You know what I mean? So anyway, that being said, I love you guys. Have an amazing week and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.